the best treatment for that we know exists is to do gender confirmation via hormones. And
you know that doesn't affect the suicide rate. The suicide rate for trans people is very high, post-op and pre-op. Really doesn't get affected by whether or not you treat them.
Well, the operation, one
question could be,
misconception is,
why is that? Is that because they're not accepted by society and we're not more loving? Could it be underlying issues that are causing them to feel this way in the first place? Like, what is it? We don't know, and I'm sure it varies widely.
It's been a while since we dropped a heavy hitter like this, but today we're unleashing a full-blown firestorm. We're diving into the most brutal moments where Joe Rogan obliterates guests who dared to bring woke ideology onto his podcast, thinking they could survive the heat. Spoiler alert, they couldn't.
Look, so all I can do is defer to the experts that I know about this, right? So
get ready, because this one is nuclear. The takedowns are savage, the logic is merciless, and the cringe levels are unmatched. So smash that subscribe button, light up those notifications, and let's dive headfirst into the chaos. And first up on the chopping block, actor and writer Adam Conover.
Choosing to add hormones to a child's body, that's a choice.
It's a choice blockers. It's a choice on the part of the parent. It's not a choice on the part of the child to in the same way that being gay isn't a choice. Yeah.
Okay, but if that's who they are, if they think that they're a girl, why do you have to give them hormones to make them more of a girl?
Because I'm sorry, can you expand on the question?
It's a simple question.
What happens when your worldview takes a vacation from reality? Simple. You freeze. Your brain short circuits. And you start wondering why you even agreed to appear on that podcast. And that's exactly what happened next.
If you say that the child thinks it's a girl, so you're going to give the child hormones.
Mm-hmm.
If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Like, you don't have, why are you adding hormones? If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body. You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice to do that.
So what trans people express, and again, I'm not an expert. This is from me talking to my trans friends and seeing what other trans folks say.
Adam Conover starts passionately defending why kids should transition until Rogan hits him with a question that snaps him straight back to earth. Watch closely. His confidence evaporates as he fumbles through the answer like he didn't expect to be challenged.
If you say that the child thinks it's a girl, so you're going to give the child hormones.
Mm-hmm.
If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Like, you don't have, why are you adding hormones? If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body. You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice to do that.
So what trans people express, and again, I'm not an expert. This is from me talking to my trans friends and seeing what other trans folks say.
Moments earlier, Adam was speaking like a certified expert on trans issues. But the moment Rogan asks a real question that requires critical thinking, suddenly he's not an expert. Translation: I have no idea what I'm talking about. This is the classic move. Talk with supreme confidence until reality shows up and blows the act apart. And Rogan exposes the flaw immediately. If someone feels disconnected from their own body, the logical first step is therapy. Not rushing kids into irreversible medical treatments while their brains are still developing. Yet today, even suggesting therapy is treated as offensive. Common sense is now controversial. Clarity gets mislabeled as cruelty. And the people who push these ideas hide behind emotion instead of reason.
If you say that the child thinks it's a girl, so you're going to give the child hormones.
Mm-hmm.
If the child thinks it's a girl, let it be a girl. Like, you don't have, why are you adding hormones? If you're shooting hormones into a child and you're affecting the child's development, you're saying that's not a choice. That's nonsense. Of course it's a choice. You're choosing to chemically change this child's body. You're choosing to inject things into this child's body on a regular basis that are going to radically affect the physical development of their body.
Yeah.
And you're saying that this isn't a choice. Well, it's definitely a choice to do that.
Boom. Another fact bomb from Rogan. Research shows that transgender individuals are not less likely to attempt suicide after gender-affirming surgery. In some long-term studies, the risk even increases. The takeaway? The core struggles aren't primarily physiological, they're psychological, emotional, and deeply complex. Surgery doesn't magically fix deep mental pain.
At this point in the conversation, I would say, like, hey, man, I just got to bone up on, on that particular, because I don't want to speak to suicide rates.
My entire concern is with children. My concern is not with young adults deciding to take steps to confirm their gender identity, who they feel they really are.
And just like that, Adam Conover slinks away, tail between his legs, completely deflated. He walked in confident, armed with buzzwords and moral posturing. But when Rogan hit him with facts, logic, and unapologetic common sense, Adam folded faster than a lawn chair in July. It's the same story every time. Lied at first, silent when challenged. That's the danger of repeating woke talking points without doing the homework.
You know, as you grow and mature and develop, you growing out of these ideas. Some will and some won't. And the ones who won't, they always have the option to do something later on in life. But if you do something to hormonally block a child very, very early on, there's no turning back from that.
Kids change their minds constantly. It's part of growing up. One day they want to be astronauts. The next, they want to be zookeepers. That's why letting them make irreversible, life-altering medical decisions is beyond irresponsible. We don't let children vote, drink, get tattoos, or sign legal contracts for a reason. They lack maturity and foresight. So why are some people suddenly okay letting them decide on permanent medical changes? Children deserve guidance and protection, not blind affirmation of confusion. Rogan calls out Adam on hormone blockers. Adam immediately pivots to a new topic.
It's a good question. I think we're really going to go through like a cultural change on how we think about that, and it's morphing so quickly, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm very much, because I am of this opinion that there is no such thing as like perfect fairness, and when we make those distinctions, we're always choosing who to allow. Mm-hmm. And because I think we should choose to allow like trans people to participate in society.
One thing about woke activists, they love drowning simple questions in mountains of meaningless jargon. It's verbal smoke screening. Instead of giving clear answers, they drown you in buzzwords and vague emotional appeals. Adam did the same thing. The question was simple, but he turned it into a lecture only to arrive at the generic conclusion: trans people should be allowed in sports. If your argument requires that much verbal gymnastics, you're hiding something.
There's a reason why we make the distinction to have male athletics versus female athletics. The reason is that males have a physiological advantage over women. So in most sports, most physical sports, we do not have males compete with females. Do those same physiological advantages apply? And what is the evidence? Well, the evidence in competition seems to be that it shows that it does apply, particularly in weightlifting, rugby, mountain biking, power heavy sports that favor larger people, stronger bodies. Males that transition to females have a significant advantage in their breaking world record.
Once again, Rogan floors his guest with cold, hard biological facts. Biological males have undeniable physiological advantages: stronger bones, greater muscle mass, higher lung capacity, and more. These advantages do not disappear with hormone therapy. That's why trans women often dominate female sports. But the woke crowd insists we ignore biology for ideology, leaving female athletes robbed of podiums, scholarships, and opportunities. That isn't progress. It's regression dressed as activism. Next up, comedian Pete Dominic.
Have a serious conversation about what kind of guns and bullets people can have. Not that they can have them or that they can't have. Like, that's the conversation. That's where we should be right now. Everything gets regulated. Everything. There are trade-offs in healthcare. There are trade-offs in everything. But Americans now are so divided. They want everything that they want. That compromise is something that we don't do as Americans, much less in government. That's preposterous.
Pete argues guns should simply be made illegal so no one can own them. It sounds noble until you think about it for 5 seconds. Criminals don't follow laws. That's why they're criminals. If guns were banned, only law-abiding citizens would disarm while criminals keep theirs. History proves bans never erase anything. Drugs, alcohol, black markets all still exist. A gun ban would create chaos, not safety.
What I'm saying about the gun thing, the most fucked up part about the messiness of the gun thing is that even if you made guns illegal, even if you said you can't have any bullets, you'll all go to jail. There's so many guns. You're not getting them all. It's not possible. There's more guns than there are people, which means there's more than 30 million guns in this country alone.
Rogan then drops a brutal reality check. Even if the government tried buying back every gun, it would be a logistical and financial disaster. There are over 400 million privately owned firearms in America, more guns than people. A buyback would cost billions or even trillions and still fail because many gun owners wouldn't comply. Others would hide or sell guns illegally. It's a feel-good idea that collapses under reality. And speaking of collapsing, remember the next guest who got caught lying?
You are associating me with this, and you are attempting to get me
I'm asking
cancelled
you to
effectively.
distance yourself from that. Is
But
actually what I'm trying to do.
But that's not what you're doing.
I do not
you
see
don't
this as
think
propaganda.
that? Look at the way it's phrased on
Okay.
your article. This sort of race science is outdated and long since debunked, especially given the strong links between Atlantis and Aryans proposed by several Nazi archaeologists. That's like a part of the headline.
You want me to show you some tweets I've gotten from
Right.
people that are fans of Graham Hancock
no,
and think
no. Listen, stop. Don't do that. They're not connected to him. They're just human.
Flint Dibble accused Graham Hancock of pushing white supremacist ideas, leading the charge to cancel him. But when confronted, Flint suddenly denied everything, until Rogan pulled out the receipts. He played Flint's exact words: no speculation, no hearsay, just evidence. Flint tried to squirm, spin, and rewrite history, but Rogan didn't let him escape. That's cancel culture hypocrisy. Loud accusations, zero accountability. And with that, we wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more content like this.